y'all.
We're back.
We're Black and White Randomz podcast. IT, aka Sky. This is
Trish.
Alrighty. So it's pretty much a podcast where we talk about a bunch of random things.
Yep.
World events, sports, popular topics,
opinions,
viral events. You just never know.
Yep.
Hell, we might even be talking about the weather. But anywho,
we might.
Please make sure you guys like, comment, share,
subscribe,
hit that notification bell,
and follow.
Depending on the platform. Absolutely. Anyway, moving along.
Okay.
So our first topic.
Okay.
Is should the NBA find and or suspend refs for some of these intentionally bad calls? The reason why this was brought up is one of the Lakers' top players was ejected from a game last night that they could have potentially won. Game was tied up. They were on their way on a run back. Mind you, they just blew this team out 2 days prior. Same arena, away game, whatever. Like, the weird part about it is it was Luka Doncic, or Luka. They literally just got him in the trade about a month or some change ago or whatever.
Right.
And everybody knows historically Luka yells at the fans sometimes when they talk ish. Like, he talks trash back.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Mind you, he had a tech already early in the game. So let's be mindful of this. He's not that dumb to purposely get himself ejected from the game.
Right.
So he's running up the court. He turns around. The referee just so happened to be in the same direction. Everybody is pissed. Even some of the OKC fans were pissed because they was like, that's a bogus call. Like, why would y'all throw him out of the game? The ref, like, he didn't even waste time. Like, he literally, as soon as he heard whatever he said to the fan, he teed him up. He was like, dog, I'm not even talking to you. Like, literally, he turned, and on top of that, like, I'm like, are you taking advantage of him because his first language is in English, and it potentially might sound like it was directed at you? Like,
right.
I don't know, like,
yeah, that sounds, yeah.
It was giving real weird vibes. Like,
there's gotta be,
there's gotta be like it was just a bad call.
Yeah, there's gotta be something. There's gotta be some type of way to hold these refs accountable. It's crazy that they have like this blanket immunity to
across majority of the police over here in America. I can't speak to international sports,
right?
But I can speak to over here. They are historically just freaking terrible.
Yeah, and then there are like periods where certain teams and certain sports are really not treated fairly. Like, there's gotta be something. There's gotta be
certain players, like they target players.
And then it's happened for a very long. It's happened for a long time. And then on the flip side of the bad calls, there's some that just get favorable calls on the other side of that. The same thing. It's the same principle. There's got to be some actual way to ensure fairness, and they're not taking those steps.
When they get ejected so many times, I believe, or so many texts, there is a fine to pay, I believe. So, like, yes, for some of them, you know, the higher paid ones in the league, that's not that big of a deal. You know what I'm saying? You get fined, whatever. But when you get fined, you also get suspended for a certain amount of games.
Right.
So, I don't know. I just found it to be weird that that's what you threw him out for. It's almost like he had money on the game almost.
Yeah, that's what it.
Personal vendetta against you, or like, I swear some of these refs be sports betting, which I believe is against them.
I don't think they're allowed to do that on any level. On any level. But remember, there was a was it one of the college games last year? I think it was one of the college games. They in the middle of the game pulled a ref because they found out she went to one of the schools she was reffing.
I don't even think it was.
How'd y'all miss?
They let her ref that game.
How'd y'all miss that?
I think it was like right before the game.
How did you miss that? Like, that should have been looked into long before you even got to the point of needing to.
But some of these college refs are just bad as well.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen a couple bad calls throughout the NCAA tournament, specifically in the women's game. Can't really speak to the men's game, basketball.
Yeah.
Whatever. But there was a couple bad calls where like, and one of the refs, it was like every call she made was just horrible.
Yeah.
And you could tell it was targeted toward one team. The other ref was pretty much calling the game fairly, but this particular ref, and she had so happened to be the head ref, which is another thing that you got to watch. A lot of times when they have these refs that are like somewhat kind of like holding the the game in their hands. Like I swear, some of these refs' egos start going to their head.
Yeah.
Like if you ever notice, majority of the ones that do that type of stuff are usually the head ref, the one that gotta go review the footage and all that other good stuff.
Yeah, like don't let that get to your head.
Like I've seen it so bad during the women's NCAA tournament where even the actual announcers reviewed the footage. It was like, oh yeah, that's got to get overturned. And then the ref came back and was like, oh, this call's not getting overturned, but we can clearly see it. We saw it at home.
A lot of times you'll hear that when there's live announcers and they actually know they actually have played. You can a lot of times they'll call them out
because sometimes they do change the referee rule book.
Yeah,
they upgrade it, change rules and stuff like that.
Yeah, no.
But at the same respect, like this was something that was like a basic rule that most people know.
Yeah, no. They need to do something. They absolutely got to do something.
They have to, because it's the NFL, it's the NBA, it's the WNBA, it's the NCAA men's and women's basketball.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure on the men's side the same thing is happening. Like, they just got to do better. In general. Because another thing is, I get them not wanting people to like actually approach the athletes and the refs because of like sports betting and stuff like that.
Right.
But you have some people that are really loose cannons.
Yeah.
And
they go rogue.
And this has nothing to do with sports betting, bro. And them refs gonna end up getting their shit rocked one of these days.
Yeah, like, because you can tell sometimes it's just they have a distaste for a certain player for whatever reason. They don't like this player, and nothing that this player can do when they're playing this particular ref. Well, I said playing them like you're playing them like they're the enemy.
Like I even heard like Angel Reese say one of her games or whatever, where they asked her something about the refs, and she was like, "I'm not really concerned about the refs too much." She was like, "The thing is with refs, you got to know how they call in the game." She was like, "If they call it aggressive, then meaning like, there's a lot of physical touch going on under the basket, they gonna start calling fouls." She was like, "That's something you gotta be attentive to." She was like, "Then you got some refs that'll let you just play the game." She was like, "That's also something you have to alter your game based on the ref." Which that sounds crazy within itself to say that you have to alter a game based on who's refereeing a game.
Yeah, but
you guys are paid to literally be there for just the rules.
You would think that everyone's calling it equally across the board, but no, they don't.
Sometimes it's in the middle. She's like, but most of the time it's one way or the other. They either call it super aggressive or they're not.
Yeah, that's
making a bunch of calls at all.
That's crazy.
Which is also dangerous because that's when a lot of people actually get hurt. When the referees are kind of like being lenient and just letting them play.
Yeah, that's insane.
I don't know, but you guys let us know how you feel on the topic. All right. So I don't know if you saw this or not, but this is making waves. Apparently, Keri Hilson was on the Breakfast Club. And she said that the Turnin Me On disc wasn't written by her, and she was forced by Polo
to record it
to do the verse.
I heard that.
This is back when she was signed to I get the Polo the Dawn label and Timberland or whatever.
Yeah. I did see this.
Right. So I'm all for it. And I'm not gonna say she was charged, wasn't charged. I can't really speak too much on that. I said charged. Focus. Focus. But anyway, I can't really say she was forced, wasn't forced.
Yeah. No, we weren't there, so we really don't know.
We don't know. Right. But the fact of the matter is she came out at this point, I guess based on the question she was asked, and she finally just answered it honestly. And I guess now after years she's feeling comfortable in that.
Yeah, and she was saying she regrets it.
Inclined to slightly believe what she's saying is, did you see who issued her his apology?
No, I didn't see that part.
Because remember, she said it wasn't written by her. The actual writer.
Yeah, she wouldn't say the name.
No,
she didn't say it on Breakfast. Oh, they did.
Another writer that we know.
I saw a
She has written for Chris Brown. It's
so
you know who it is.
I saw the comments on the Shade Room post, but so that's confirmed.
It is confirmed.
Oh, okay.
It was her.
Okay.
It was ye.
That's I don't know if I would have expected that. But I get that she regrets it now, and I hear her, but
the apology was terrible because they still kind of tried to not put blame on Keri, but she was just
I didn't see that. I didn't see the apology. I didn't see that. I'm gonna have to look it up after we're done.
because back then, not thinking about it, because she, in the apology, she even said the song was a hit.
Because she writes some
I
bangers.
didn't really think Esther Dean, by the way, because we did not mention who it was, but it was Esther Dean.
She writes some bangers now.
She does. She's been writing them.
Absolutely.
The issue is,
got a couple of her own.
You can see that she was sorry-ish that it kind of hurt Keri's career, but because it was a hit, she kind of ignored it.
Yeah, because the profit is still there.
A hit, and then she tried to say that Keri co-wrote this song. Keri was like, I didn't co-write nothing on this song. I had versions of the song.
Yeah, what she was saying was she wrote her own, and it wasn't that. And she said, my thing is, I would never have believed him when he said it's not going to be released. I wouldn't have, if I were her, I wouldn't have believed him. But also,
the thing was, is he didn't release it, he leaked it. That's the thing that we all forgot. That track actually was leaked. So yeah. And that's back when, leaking was like this.
Yeah.
Like this thing where people didn't know who was leaking the music. Like,
right. Like we didn't know it was someone on the inside.
Obviously.
I can imagine at that point though, think about the album that was like a remix for. Mm-hmm. She was just trying to get out there and make a name, trying to make music. Like I can imagine the pressure that she felt when that was asked of her to do that. Whether she should have or not, it's done now.
Almost starting her career too.
Exactly.
Like she couldn't release her album.
Right. Yada, yada. And that album, I still listen to that. You'll still catch me listening to that.
Keri Hilson album was a banger, bro.
Yeah. That's her. She's the reason I listen to that album.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can only imagine. I'm glad
that they only mentioned the fact that Beyonce was dissed on that record, but I feel like Sierra was also dissed on.
People in the comments were like, "Y'all could never have told me it was her. It was supposed to be about Beyonce." She was like, and the people were like, "I never would have figured that out." Like that did not hurt her at all. If anything, they were like that elevated Keri in the real fans' eyes because they were like, that was a side of her that like showed us something different.
Honestly, for real, the way it was. The way the flow was in a rap, it kind of reminded me of how Chris Brown be flowing when he rapping. That's what someone else was pointing out in the comments. They were like, before I saw the confirmation that it was Esther, they were like, you could tell if you actually pay attention to the flow that she probably wrote that. Like if you analyze it and you look at it from the perspective of was that her, you probably could figure out that was her. But I didn't know that that had been confirmed. But it's weird because Esther Dean is actually on that track. Now that I think about
it. Yeah, that's...
So it's kind of like really weird in a sense.
Yeah, I don't know.
My thing is they put that out there knowing that it was going to get picked up because it sounded like a complete diss track. That's why they put that out.
I'm glad she spoke about it, though, if it was been bothering her all this time.
You can have people that don't believe her from a can of paint.
No, of course not.
The proof is in the pudding.
Right. Yeah.
It is what it is. Moving along.
Mm-hmm.
Would you date a man with 0 friends?
No. Hell no.
That's real suspicious.
Yeah, not one.
Some people are not really like social
not
butterflies.
One friend, though.
Saying that you could be a social butterfly, but that is some weird.
You ain't got not one friend.
That's giving serial killer vibes.
Like, right. Like quote cat. Not one insurgent friend. You don't have one.
Go to, and I'm not saying like dudes go to each other confess every.
No, not like we do.
Feelings, like they'll do like surface level things. Like
some of them go deep, but more often than not, as far as we know, with but no, you got to have at least one.
You got to bounce business ideas off.
Yeah, you got to have somebody.
But there's some things that you just can't.
Yeah, you got to have at least. You got to have at least one.
You do need a deeper relationship with your your woman, but you can't just be.
Having friends
dudes are not just gonna go over there and tell their homeboys their most emotional, deepest thoughts.
Having a friend, a really good friend outside of your romantic relationship is normal and healthy. It's so healthy. As long as your friend and your partner are respectful. They don't even have to become friends of their own. As long as they're respectful of each other and who they are to you, like you got to have at least one friend, sir.
I just feel like
don't even
at this age cannot deal with a dude that's so immature that their friends put them in environments where they could potentially
be tempted.
Not just tempted, and I'm not even just talking about on no sexual shit. Like in general, like they put you in an environment where you're at risk for certain behaviors, certain things to take place. Potential scandals. Like, just there's some dudes that still hang around with their hood best friends that still doing hood rights and shit.
Yeah.
You're a little bit older and like you can settle down, you can start a family.
Yeah, at some point you gotta move. You gotta grow up.
Sometimes you have dudes that are envious of other dudes too, so you gotta be mindful of that type of stuff. They see you moving a specific way in life, and they want to judge you for and act like because you actually doing the things the way that you're supposed to be doing it, that you're in the wrong, or it's soft, or it's this and it's that.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that dudes are pushovers and stuff like that, but it's just weird to me whenever they still hanging out with their dudes that still acting like they 22.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's still weird to me.
Yeah, that is.
This dude is not really a good person.
Yeah. You got to have at least one good friend. I'm not asking you to have a lot. You gotta have at least one.
Because my thing is
I can't.
I feel like people should date their friends too, because like at the end of the day, men and women should not be dating people for their potential. Not saying men actually almost never date women for their potential.
Really, they don't.
As women, we seem to think that I see the potential in the potential.
That's true.
Girl, when we was over the projects, he was sitting in there drawing buildings. He might be an architect. But he was just on the corner playing.
Y'all gotta cut that out. Y'all gotta cut that out.
Sense.
Yeah, no.
The lingo slinging. If you're not from the United States, because a couple of y'all watch us around.
Yeah, we've got some
international.
Yeah, hey y'all.
How you doing? But that's pretty much a phrase for selling drugs on the corner, slinging. But slanging could mean something completely different. We have to discuss.
Yeah, that's for another episode.
Yeah, let that go.
But not for this one.
We're not even remotely talking about nothing.
Not like that. Yeah, no.
But like I said, just dudes, go out there and get you some solid friends.
Yeah.
That can help bring you up in business, but ones that also aren't living like that. Living a double life stuff is crazy to me.
Yeah, it is.
But anywho, now we had Driving While Black.
Okay. Yes. We do.
Please leave black people alone while they walking. Why we mess with people for walking while black?
No.
Because they in your vicinity, in your space. You cutting them off in a grocery store. You acting like you the victim in the situation. But y'all quick to call us the victim when we come to defense of one of our own for potentially getting into a spat with one of y'all kids who started some mess. Now, it might not have ended up the way you wanted it to. So that's a whole nother topic.
Yeah.
You sing that thing about that boy that stabbed that kid?
I did.
Yeah, we all sing that. And it's goofy because that's like going to have something between the black and the white community to split. Because they're like, why is he carrying a knife? And I wanted to say, why is y'all kids taking guns to school shooting it up? But y'all didn't call them victim. They're victimhood. Is black people have victimhood when we say something about one of our own and how kids potentially carry knives, how adults carry them. Why do you have it at track meet? Something that this boy probably carried all the time because this is something that he carried to protect himself. Y'all don't know where he's from. Y'all don't know his environment. Y'all assume. Stop looking at things through one lens and look at it through multiple lenses. Just like we can be quick to say that little Hunter had a mental illness after he just shot up.
Got all the excuses in the world for stuff like that.
You got Hunter the Burger King after he shot up a church.
Yep.
Like, y'all got to stop this nonsense over here in the United States.
They can and they have in the past.
Like, it is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's okay when y'all do it, but it's terrible when we do it.
In self-defense.
And my thing is this. Once them boys put their hands on him, which they did, he shouldn't have been under their tent. It's track. It was raining. He went under the nearest tent. There's somebody that they tried to say a fact was he wasn't supposed to be at the event. Where did that fact come from?
Why? First of all, why?
He was on the track team.
Was he not a student of the school?
Boys wasn't even on the track team. They was on the football team. They just so happened to be at the event.
Y'all have absolutely
lost y'all marbles.
Yeah, y'all stop defending.
And in Texas, where he could legally carry a weapon. No, probably not on school premises, but everywhere else he could have one. He could legally have that knife at the age of 16 in Texas.
Y'all be making every excuse
Y'all just
in
make
the
up
book.
your own rules when it's convenient.
Yes.
And I'm telling you, like what it is. Most black kids are taught if you get drunk, jumped, grab whatever you can to beat their ass with it.
Yeah.
And your life is potentially at risk. You talking to somebody that's sitting here now after getting jumped by 15 kids when I was about 14, 15 years old. I was almost 15.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm literally got stomped out, knocked out, woke up. Like, bruh, like don't play. And it wasn't even a fault of my own.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, like we are taught to defend ourselves in whatever way we can.
Yeah.
If there's something near you, pick it up, beat their ass with it.
We're from the generation of a fair fight is a fair fight. One-on-one, that's
One-on-one,
all your friends, your homies,
no
they all stay out of it.
By the time that second and third person jump in,
right. The minute it becomes unfair, uneven, it's all rules are out the window because at that point you're fighting for survival. A one-on-one is a one-on-one. You don't bring a weapon, I don't bring a weapon, we just swing in fists. That's a fair fight. The minute it's an unfair fight, you gotta do what you gotta do to make it home. Like, I don't care. Like, that kid, it
is what it is.
He had to make it home.
10, his parents are millennials, and I guarantee you they pay.
Yeah, because we're definitely teaching our kids that. Y'all teach your kids that shit. Okay.
Meanwhile, you talking about him having a knife at school, but y'all walking around with guns.
Teaching your kids how to shoot AR-15s and shit.
There you go.
Bullshit. Don't make no damn sense. It's
okay when y'all do it. It's not okay when we do it. We know what type of United States we live in.
Right.
At the end of the day, and I hope his ass walk.
I hope he does.
Only because y'all are quick to jump on him about having a knife. He shouldn't have had this. He shouldn't have had that. Y'all kids walking around with way worse. Stop it.
Yeah.
And them kids was known bullies.
Mm-hmm.
Both them brothers was known bullies. Y'all saying they couldn't find nothing on that black kid about him being bullied. Nothing. All they had on him was he had a knife at school previously. They didn't have anything aggressive on him.
Mm-hmm.
He was a top student at his school, a top prospect or whatever going to college for football. Like y'all couldn't, like, what do y'all get ready to say? Y'all couldn't pull all the thug shit on him. Because normally,
that pisses them off. They can't put that on him.
They try to find everything they can find to throw somebody under the bus. Stop.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's always what happens.
Anyway, we're moving along. Mm-hmm. Y'all can tell us how y'all feel about it. If y'all feel that the black kid was in the wrong, which I'm not saying that he tried to kill that boy. I'm not saying that
we're not saying
stabbed him with the intent to kill him.
No.
Just because you stab somebody don't mean they gonna die.
No. Respectful comments though. We can disagree. That's fine. If you want to argue though and you get nasty, that's you'll be blocked.
Anybody
absolutely.
Anyway, so Travis Hunter claims he can play 100% of the NFL snaps. If you don't remember who Travis Hunter is that guy that played on Oklahoma State? Oklahoma? I forgot. I believe it was Oklahoma. No, Colorado. Colorado State. Colorado State. Deion Sanders is coaching the team. His son's on the team. Recall this. Okay. Travis Hunter was the dude that went viral because the whole entirety of the internet wanted to prove that this girl was cheating on him after they were engaged. Remember, he was engaged to the chick. It went viral.
I think so, yeah.
I believe we talked about this way back when they first.
Yeah, this was a minute ago, yeah.
Probably like November, December, when like the bowl game.
In my brain, that's forever ago.
But like the internet pretty much stalked him down, harassed him. So the girl, like, I don't know if he's still with her, not with her. They ain't none of my business. Don't really care.
Right.
But the internet took it, and I feel like because of who she was and because of what she looked like, I feel like she wasn't a white girl, but she definitely was a person of color.
Okay.
Whether she was biracial, mixed, of other descent, really didn't matter. I just felt like that was that man relationship, and y'all took it upon yourselves to try to demean and destroy her at a pivotal point in his life and career, talking about, oh, we did him justice. Y'all didn't do him shit. What y'all did was have that man probably have a mental breakdown in the middle of him having a football, like a pivotal part in his college football career. That's what the hell y'all did. Y'all messy as hell.
Yeah,
it's just messy.
Yeah,
if he was gonna find that out, let him find that out on his own. It is not y'all business to help him along the way. It's really not.
Yeah, internet.
And it was his fiance at the time. So if he was going to find all this out, eventually it was going to come out anyway if she was doing the shit. It is not y'all business to speed the process up.
Yeah, internet detectives.
Once they got a hold of the first inkling of her doing whatever at one of his events or whatever, then everybody was, oh, we got to help. Y'all need to help your damn household. Y'all worried about him.
Internet detectives, can we, because there have been plenty of times where internet detectives use their powers for good. Let's focus on that. Let's out the men who were in that 70,000 men group chat. Let's find the pedophiles. Let's leave people alone.
They worried about the one ratchet chick that got hooked up with the dude that played.
Right. Football. Like, let's not worry about that. Let's focus that energy into something that's actually going to benefit society, because that doesn't benefit anything or anyone. It doesn't help y'all at all. Getting criminals off our street and shit like that helps people. Like, can we, because there have been instances where that's happened. Can we focus on shit like that? Stop being goddamn nosy.
And like, dudes felt like they had to be his savior and this, that, and that. Like, it was
y'all doing too much.
Like, yo, like, stop.
Yeah, stop. No, y'all doing too much.
Like,
use your powers for good, not for evil.
Y'all end up hurting that man more than y'all helped him.
Absolutely.
And not even saying it that way.
That's the cat, y'all, if you hear her.
Ridiculous. Like, y'all need to just stop being ridiculous out here.
Yeah.
Anyway, so back to the original point at hand.
Right. He said he could play.
In college, played on offense and defense.
Okay.
At points in the game.
Okay.
He swear he can play 100% of the snaps, offense and defense, in the NFL. Sir, them men in the NFL is way different than them men that you playing with.
Yeah, that doesn't sound smart.
And I'm not saying yes, y'all.
Do you have the skill? Yeah, if you do, but should you is the question. Like, not doubting that you could. Should you every single time? No,
it doesn't happen often now. Back in the day, maybe here and there, you might see a player go from defense to special team. You might see a player go from offense to special team. You might even see a player go from offense to defense, but I guarantee you it ain't nowhere near 100% of the time.
No. Just because you could.
I need you to think about preservation.
I was thinking that just because you could doesn't mean you should. You might have the skill, but that doesn't mean that's how you need to utilize it. That's not. When
he gonna learn his lesson when he gets smacked by one.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, really smacked, not one of them little soft hits. And we talking in an era of new football where they got all these damn rules. Because back in the Ray Lewis and them era, you get smacked. You go ahead and say that same dumb stuff that you
because man, Ray would take that as a personal offense.
You're confident. Travis,
I love that very much.
But sometimes you got to stay silent.
Yeah.
And it's okay that you want to play both sides of the ball, but I just don't think you're gonna play 100 snaps.
No, that's too much.
There's many NFL coaches out there that would allow you to do that. Now, Deion Sanders might have somebody in his pocket that he might be able to, be like, look, it might be beneficial for you if somebody to break on.
Yeah, there are times where that would be useful.
He's not out there running 100% of the time on offense. He's not starting or nothing like that.
That would be useful. But not an every time occurrence. That might be too much.
All right, here we go. This is a blanketed statement, and I'm gonna see if you're gonna figure out which direction I'm going with this.
Okay.
Nice girls aren't spoiled by their men.
Nice girls aren't spoiled by their men.
And if you want to go the other way with this, the nice dudes finish last statement, it's almost equivalent. It's literally almost equivalent.
Huh.
And it's gonna be the way that you see the nice guys finish last is gonna be how you answer this, and it could be right or it could be wrong.
My
Some
first,
people have the nice guys finish last thing wrong, and it's not because they're that nice. It's because how they behave because they're that nice. But you go ahead.
wait a minute. Say the first one. Nice girls, what aren't spoiled by their men?
Yes.
My first thought, my first instinct was they spoil themselves.
No.
What?
No.
What?
No.
What you got?
No.
What?
Absolutely not.
What?
So this is what happens.
Okay.
Overly nice girls are usually not spoiled by masculine men. That's what I will say. Reason being, like, yes, you can be submissive, right?
Uh-huh.
You still have to have some type of backbone. Most nice girls end up being on the male schedule, whatever he needs, whatever he da.
Okay.
And this is in the beginning. This is not like after like you guys actually become like a couple.
Mhm.
But in general, before like on the courting stage, on the whatever, there are certain girls that are just too nice, they too available, they too this, they too that. Like their time is just
Okay.
whatever he asks, whatever time, even if I had plans, I'm about to cancel my plans, I'm about to meet up with him.
Right.
Like, that's not how that's supposed to go.
No, it's not.
It's not. My thing is, if he really wants you, he gonna make time for the time that you have.
Mm.
Now, I'm not telling you once you get together, like you can't move stuff around. And I'm not saying there's not a point in time where you should move stuff around. The problem is you have females that are too
Available.
They're too available. As soon as he texts you, you right on. Girl, he texts me.
You know, friend is gonna be tripping that you type it sound.
But like, it doesn't make sense. So, as soon as he messages you, you on your phone.
Yeah.
As soon as he asks you to go out, you might have had other plans. Maybe you had something to do that was proactive for you and your career. Maybe you had something to do with your friends.
I was gonna say that you had playing with your girls.
Maybe you had something to do that was gonna help you develop personally,
Hmm.
and you planned it out. And then all of a sudden, oh girl, I gotta cancel because guess what, girl? Gerard want to take me out today. Like, no, like this is not how that works.
Right.
Like stop being so damn accessible all the time. You the type of chick that he messaged you at 10 o'clock at night. We already know what's going on at 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah,
girl, he don't. You know what he want that time.
Not if it's not a continuation of a conversation you've been having for a minute.
Because
if it's
you
random,
show him that you're accessible at the time of the night, he gonna use you as such, and then guarantee you he's gonna bounce at some point soon in the near future, or you're forever gonna be that time of the night. He know that if he texts, he whatever, you are available.
Yeah, not all attention is good attention.
No.
Yeah, remember that. Not all attention is good attention.
But the crazy part is, my reference is nice guys do the same thing.
That is true.
You get what I'm saying?
That's true. They do.
So at the end of the day, like it's the same equivalent.
Like you want to be available, but you don't want to be too available. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you want to be accommodating, but you don't want to be a pushover.
We're not telling dudes to be like assholes.
No.
But the super overly nice guy, when they get labeled as nice guys, it's because they're always available for everything. They're always willing to help out. She in a crisis, she's in a crunch. He's a vet. Like, you get what I'm saying?
Someone's only going to treat you the way you let them treat you.
If you become a sponge, then that's exactly what you are. You become a mop, that's exactly what
that's just I haven't heard, but my mother used to say that time. I haven't heard that in a long time. He's only going to treat you the way you let him treat you. So if you let him treat you expendable and disposable until he wants you, that's what you'll become.
That's exactly.
And that's what you'll stay.
Yep.
No matter how far that relationship goes.
All right, so here we go.
Mm-hmm.
So we do not have to, as a society, as a people, and I'm not saying I do or I don't, but you do not personally have to agree with transgender adults teaching in schools, right? At all. You do not.
You have the right not to agree. Yes.
You have the right.
Yes.
Not to agree.
We live in America.
But
we get to say.
Do not have your kid be blatantly disrespectful.
No.
To them, they are still adults.
Yep.
Do not care if they are transgender. don't care. And the reason why this is coming up is because there was a transgender male to female on my page, but still look like to me a male. You could tell they were a male.
Okay.
They wanted to be treated as such.
Okay.
And the student just kept telling them like, all right, well, you're not this, you're not this, you're not this, you're not this, you're not this. Okay, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Understood. I would say in this instance, like, I'm pretty sure the teacher just actually called by their name.
Okay.
They didn't want to be dressed as Mr. and Mrs. nothing.
That's not that hard of an ask.
It's not.
Not right? At all.
Cool. And at the end of the day, whether your child felt he was this, that, whether we knew he was this or that, as we all know, it is what it is. Just address them by their name. It keeps you out of the thick of things. It is what it is. When they come home, they can talk to you about it. Clearly, your household is anti-whatever. But why are they disrespecting an adult? Period.
Yeah, no.
They're there to get a lesson. They were trying to be taught a lesson, and your child's only focus was that, which means that this is a very large topic within your household.
There's an age at which it goes from children noticing things that they haven't noticed before, which maybe is the first couple of years. They notice different skin tones. They notice hair. They notice. I remember one kid stopped me one time because they had never seen freckles before. Like, there's an age at which innocent observations become ignorant. If you are hurting your child into the ignorant portion, into the rude portion, you're the problem. Innocent observations are innocent observations. You teach your child in that first moment when they notice something, this is how we handle this. This is what we can say. This is what we're not going to say. This is what's to be discussed at home. You teach your child to be a decent person. Teach them to disrespect adults because they don't want to be called Mr. or Miss or Sir or Ma'am. You are an asshole and you need to stop.
Be called by their name. And then
now we're from the generation Mr. and Miss, Mr. Mrs.
However, I understand the school system going to look like we're not going to confuse the kids as having called you by your name. Whatever.
I'm okay with that.
Right now, the thing of the matter is, I think the teacher started getting affected by it because it was a reoccurring thing throughout the day. Like, it was one of those, almost like, first of all, children can bully teachers.
They can.
Just because they're adults does not mean anything. At the end of the day, like, your child is specifically targeting this person.
Yeah.
And it's just your child. This is the only child in the class. So this makes it look even wilder that is going on, which means that this is definitely a topic in your household.
Right. This child is overhearing some things that they shouldn't even. Yeah.
If you don't want your child attending this school,
you have every right to move them. You do. You have every right to request a different teacher.
You do.
But you don't have the right to be a jackass about it.
Like, maybe that's not a thing. Maybe in your home or whatever. But I guarantee you this is one of the... I hate to say it.
What?
Those radicalists that we have as Christians, the Christian nationalists that want to be Christians, but they're not Christians.
No, they only want to quote the parts that agree with what they want to agree with. They don't want to. Yeah.
Trying to say that racism, like, literally, like, segregation was in the Bible, or was Jesus was pushing segregation. I said, huh? And then the scriptures they brought about didn't even really make sense.
They only want
period they made sense. But
they only want to serve.
It was based on religious study, and acts of, like, the way these people were living their lives, because some of them were pagans. Some Jews would have been separated. It had nothing to do with their skin tone.
Yeah, no. Y'all gotta
stop it. Yeah.
It's not hard to be decent people and to teach your children to be decent people. I really don't understand teaching hatred. I don't.
It's like, bro, you don't have to agree with it. If that's something that your household does not agree with, that's against your religious beliefs, take them out.
Right. That's okay for you to
put them somewhere else.
Not be a jackass about that. That's fine. But when it crosses, like, I will never I'm never going to teach my child to disrespect an adult because they say something I don't agree with. She will respect the adult, even if it's not something I like or agree with. We can talk about that later.
No, because my thing is, what if that adult wasn't all the way
wrapped too tight,
or this was the one day that they came to school,
or like my mother would have said, the elevator ain't reaching the top floor,
and it's not clicking on all all cylinders, and they not recognizing that this is a room full of children or something like that. Like at the end of the day, these teachers are human.
Yeah.
They dealing with your ratchet child that you barely want to deal
That
with.
you don't want to deal with. Hence the reason y'all are mad about spring break. Shut up. Shut up.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
But either way, let us know how you guys felt about this topic below. Speaking of which, I get it. Like, certain countries that might listen to us, that might be a sensitive topic, but we still want to hear from you just to see like what your take on it is.
Yeah, we just don't want people letting their kids be mean and nasty and rude. That's really what we're saying. Don't let your kid be that kid. That's all.
All right. Well, like, comment,
share,
subscribe,
come back and see us.
hit that notification bell. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Peace.